Spinning like a spinning top of WKBW Radio. It's the Rod Roddy radio programming from 1520 on your dial. Let's run down the cancellations again for you, all right? These are all cancellations. These are all repeat cancellations, so we don't have to say cancels after each and every one, all right? You'll assume that these are cancellations. Here we go. Chevrolet Foundry Credit Union dinner will be held. That's not a cancellation. I lied right away. The KFC in Medina, the Beta Phi Sorority Tea, the Local 138 meeting, the Ellen Terry Bingo, a Local 1199 USW meeting, Tonawanda Recreational Department, Club Commodore, St. Anthony's Bingo, Chevy Employees Meeting at 2939 Niagara, General Body Meeting, Local 424 Bowling League, Spaghetti Dinner at Holy Spirit, St. Paul's Choral Program, the Senior High Fellowship, North Presbyterian Williamsville, the Meyer Memorial Black Band Senior Tea, the Deerhurst Church at Brighton Casino Skating Party, St. John the Evangelist Bingo, Buffalo Orpheus Women's Auxiliary Luncheon, the Sigma Tau Thai North Tonawanda, St. Bernadette's and Armour Bingo, the Amarat Social Club, Thruway Motors at Hotel Buffalo Meeting, the Allied Bowling Center, the KFC and Albion Bingo, the Cheektowaga Stamp and Coin Club, the Horse Show, Saddle and Bridle at Amherst, the Naval Reserve Drill, Porter Avenue, the Immaculate Conception Bingo, the Assumption Church Card Party, the Buffalo Municipal Basketball League, the Kenmore United Church Activities, the Moose and Lancaster Bingo, the Central United Presbyterian Latin American Program, the Temple Sinai Banquet and Business Meeting, and the Westminster Presbyterian Church Fireside Group. These have all been canceled. The Chevrolet Foundry Credit Union dinner will be held. The Chevrolet Foundry Credit Union dinner will be held. All right, friends? And ski conditions, needless to say, are great. We've been in contact with Kissing Bridge and Glenwood out on Route 240, and also the Erie County Highway Department tells us that all of the county and state highways are open and plowed. You will experience some bumpy spots. Now starting to snow in Hamburg again. The winds are kicking up. You may experience some drifting later on, but it's doing a good job out on the county and the state highways. Stay tuned to KB Radio for all that's new and the big storm in Buffalo, New York.
Hello, I'm Miss KB.
And she may award you a fabulous prize just for listening to WKBW Buffalo, New York.
A well-respected man and friend to WKBW. We'll have a complete rundown on the highway conditions in western New York in just a moment.
Now, from Humble Oil, on behalf of Esso Watchdog Oil Heat Service, a Spot announcement. Thank you, Spot.
And now here we go. Buffalo snow emergency regulations are now being enforced. The Buffalo Police Department is enforcing the snow emergency regulations. What it means in a nutshell, actually what it means in a snowbank, is if your car is on one of these snow emergency streets and it is not moved, it's a hazard. It's in the way of the snowplows, and it makes things rough for them, and it delays the cleaning of the streets, so you will receive a penalty. Yeah, not a laughing matter. So I'll tell you what, because of the bad shape of the Buffalo streets, you might want to get to your car or leave right now and get there and try to beat the police to your car and get it out of there. Pay to have it taken. It'll be cheaper than if they take it out. In Buffalo, New York, Skyway and the Father Baker Bridge are closed. The Buffalo Airport is closed. An unofficial estimate, at least 8 to 10 more hours at the airport. Most main streets have been plowed but remain snow-covered. Some secondary main streets are blocked with drifts and automobiles and are impassable. Most side arteries are covered with 1 to 2 feet of snow in Buffalo. They're badly rutted and impossible for travel. In Erie County, the main roads are in the process of being plowed and sanded. However, main highways remain in hazardous condition. Erie County secondary roads are all but closed. All are snow-clogged. The sheriff's deputies advise no unnecessary travel in Niagara County unless your auto is equipped with chains. Main highways in Niagara County are in poor condition. Secondary arteries are plugged with deep snow and are impassable. In Genesee County, main highways are in extremely hazardous condition. Side roads are drifted over and impassable. Some secondary roads are reported closed. In Chautauqua County, all main highways have been plowed and are reported in condition suitable for travel. Side roads in Chautauqua County have also been plowed and are reported in fair condition. In Orleans County, residents are requested to remain home unless in case of an emergency. Main highways are in dangerous condition. Secondary roads are plugged with snow and are impassable in Orleans County. Allegheny County, main highways in Allegheny are in poor condition. The side roads are impassable. Some side county roads are closed. Cattaraugus County, main highways have been plowed and sanded. However, they remain in poor to fair condition with snow continuing. Side roads are very hazardous, however, but none are closed. In Livingston County, main highways are getting all the plowing attention. Side roads in many sections have not been plowed. Highways are in poor condition. In Wyoming County, no unnecessary travel advised. Main highways are in poor condition. Some secondary county roads are not plowed and are closed. The New York State Thruway is open the entire length. The Thruway is open from New York to the Pennsylvania state line, including the Buffalo and Niagara section, but experiencing poor driving conditions. Usually limited to one lane. The other lane is in pretty bad shape. As you know, the Thruway being out in the wide open spaces there, they get a lot of snow blowing across the road. And although they are doing a heck of a job, the cloud was up and 10 minutes later there's another little drift. So the Thruway is open, but in not really great condition. Throughout western New York, the ski areas report that they're doing about one-half of their normal business. However, they're all operating and doing, they're ready for you if you want to get out there. If you're going to drive, be very, very careful. Most of them are open tonight, at least Kissing Bridge for sure, and Glenwood will be running tonight under the lights. If you can get out of your driveway and get onto a county highway or a state highway and it takes you to your favorite ski area, chances are you can have a ball out there. But be very careful, all right? It's 30 degrees in Buffalo. Get out of the city, though. Let's get the streets cleaned up here. Down at the scene on KB Radio. It's 9 minutes after 3 o'clock on the Rod Roddy radio program.
Today's generation asks for and drinks Pepsi for the taste of it. So say the word, Pepsi.
Waiting in the welfare line, it's Buck Owens at 12 minutes after 3 here on KB.
The Dodge Boys, the Dodge Boys. Join the Dodge Rebellion with the Dodge Boys. Wonderful guys to deal with, wonderful folks to know. Wherever you are, hop in your car, come in and take some dough. See the Dodge Boys, the Dodge Boys. Join the Dodge Rebellion right away. For the very best kind of a deal, get your very next automobile from the Dodge Boys today. See the Dodge Boys and join the Dodge Rebellion. The Dodge Boys are rebelling against dull driving, careless salesmen, and sloppy service. Only the Dodge Boys offer you the swinging new 66 Dodges, capable salesmen, and heads-up service. Don't believe me? See the dependable Dodge Boys. Wonderful guys to deal with. For the very best kind of a deal, get your very next automobile from the Dodge Boys today.
It's time for some more cancellations on the Dan Neville's radio program. We've just been in touch with our answering service, and they inform us that the Ukrainian Independence Day celebration canceled. All flights of Mohawk Airlines into Buffalo canceled, possibly will be operating maybe by 10 o'clock tonight. St. Mary of Sorrows Bingo canceled. St. Bonaventure West Seneca Bingo. Buffalo Skating Club Figure Skating Exhibition. The Cheektowaga Cherokees Toboggan Party. St. Paul's Lutheran Annual Congregational Dinner has been canceled. The Young Set Bowling League of the Thruway Lanes and their Dance of the Airways follow have been canceled. The Shamrock Parents Association of St. Timothy's have canceled their meeting, and the Infant of Prague Bingo has been canceled. The Assistant Fire Chief Gick of West Seneca has asked the people of West Seneca to please shovel away the snow from the front of the fire hydrants. Please shovel away the snow. The fire people in West Seneca have been out most of the day and cannot possibly get to all of the hydrants. So you can do your civic bit in West Seneca if you'll get out there. If you know that there's a hydrant somewhere near your home, to shovel it out and make sure it's for your own protection, too, and for your neighbors. So the Assistant Chief in West Seneca has asked us to pass the message along to West Seneca residents to please. I guess this would hold true for residents of any town, anywhere, and in the city, too. If you're near a fire hydrant or you know the whereabouts of a fire hydrant in your area, if you can get out there and spend a few moments to shovel it out, okay? For your own safety and for the safety of your friends. This is WKBW Radio, Buffalo. by the Fabulous Knickerbockers. That's the name of their latest challenge album, The Fabulous Knickerbockers Live. Now, low discount price in all 34 Grant's, Kresge's, Woolworth's, and G.C. Murphy record departments. 10 fabulous tunes by the fabulous Four Knickerbockers, including their smash hit Live. You can add it to your collection first thing tomorrow. It's in the record department of your nearby Grant's, Kresge's, Woolworth's, or G.C. Murphy stores at their usual low price. 34 stores around Buffalo, New York to serve you. Around Buffalo, New York to serve you Action Central News with all the latest. This is the big storm day in Buffalo, about 20 inches of snow, 30 degrees of temperature. The Rod Roddy radio show continues after the news.
W K B W Pulse Beat News.
At 3:16, it's 29 degrees in Buffalo. This is John Sack reporting. In the top of the news, the worst snowstorm of the winter continues to batter Buffalo. It's still snowing lightly in the Queen City, where nearly 20 inches of snow are in the ground. The Skyway Bridge, the Father Baker Bridge, and Buffalo International Airport remain closed at this hour and will remain shut down until further notice. Heaviest accumulation of snow is now reported hitting Orleans County. Rochester, with a 10-inch accumulation, also reports the storm continuing. An additional accumulation of 5 inches reported for most of the upstate area this afternoon. In other news, the Viet Cong are fair game for American and Allied forces in Vietnam again today after a 3-day ceasefire, which was violated repeatedly by the communists. In Alaska, helicopters began searching Bristol Bay in Alaska today for a hunter and his dog stranded on a 12-foot square ice floe. And police in Birmingham, Alabama say they've charged one of Dr. Martin Luther King's top aides with drunken and reckless driving. Hosea Williams, who had been leading racial demonstrations recently in Birmingham, was picked up early this morning. The weather in a moment.
Here's the message from the Secretary of Commerce, John T. Connor.
America has a serious money problem. More dollars are leaving this country than are coming in. Our bankers, our businessmen, our government have responded magnificently to President Johnson's appeal to solve the balance of payments deficit. But more can and must be done by more people. What can you do? Write to Good as Gold, Department of Commerce, Washington, D.C., for a free booklet called Keeping the American Dollar Strong.
The official KB Weather Eye forecast for this hour: snow moderate to heavy at times, changing to snow flurries this afternoon. High temperature today around 32, windy and colder with snow flurries and intervals of partial clearing tonight and tomorrow. Lows tonight in the teens, east to northeast winds 10 to 25 miles an hour, gusty at times. Caution is advised against hazardous driving conditions in Buffalo and the western New York area. The barometer rising at 29.65. Winds off of the northwest at 9 miles an hour. Humidity 98%. Present temperature 29 degrees. This has been John Zack reporting.
For a complete pictorial report of the day's news, watch Channel 7. For news when it happens, from where it happens, it's KB Pulse Beat News at 15 and 45. Now for Rod Roddy and KB Music.
WKBW.
Got bills to pay? Pay 'em. Got things to buy? Buy 'em. Want cash to do it? Then call Beneficial Finance and get that big okay.
Get that big okay at Beneficial. Get that big okay for cash today. Just pick up your phone and make a call for cash. The Beneficial way is the smart way, the right way too. When you want cash, here's the thing to do. Get that big okay at Beneficial. Get that big okay.
You pick the terms, you pick the payment.
Get that big okay.
Beneficial Finance Company.
There are 8 beneficial offices within the sound of my splendid voice. One is located at 2177 and 1/2 Seneca Street in Buffalo, also in Jamestown, and in Hornell. Loans by mail, too. See the white pages. Yes, the white pages of your phone book under Beneficial. Beneficial Finance Company. 30 degrees in Buffalo, New York. We've been in touch with the airlines, and they informed me something I wasn't aware of. And I'm glad they told me because we can pass it along to you. If you're expecting somebody to come in on an airline flight into Buffalo, forget it, or into Rochester or some other city in New York State. Most of the airports have been stocked in or are closed. The unofficial estimate at the Buffalo airport is anywhere from 8 to 10 hours, and most of the airlines are looking to get out of there tomorrow morning, if they're lucky. Because the problem is not so much the visibility or the danger, but just the fantastic removal job of the snow out there. A big area, and it's all blanketed with about 2.5, 3 feet of snow, and it's blowing around like crazy. So that's the big problem at the airport. That's why it's closed. Now, the airlines informed me that the usual procedure is to telephone those who hold tickets on flights and inform them of the fact that the airlines have canceled their flights, and they do not necessarily put them on a bus. I guess the only time they put you on a bus is if you're forced to land in a different city, or if a whole bunch of people are at the airport and a flight is canceled at the last minute. But in this case, most of the airlines were aware and alerted ahead of time of the fact that most of the airlines would be canceling flights. So they have notified almost all of their passengers of this fact and have informed them that it's up to them to make other arrangements, and that's the way it goes. So don't be expecting someone to arrive on a bus provided by the airlines if they missed their flight in New York or the flight was canceled in some other city and they were coming into Buffalo. Chances are they'll be calling you on the phone, so just keep your line open. And that's about it, really. I want to thank the airlines for their help in that, with that information. I didn't realize that. I thought that they would automatically put you on a bus or a train if your flight was canceled. I thought that was a procedure, but apparently not so. In Buffalo, New York, the snow emergency regulations have been enforced and are being enforced now. So if your car is on a snow emergency street, you better get it off or it's going to cost you. The bright, elusive butterfly of love, the K-Big record of the week. That's Bob Lind on the Neverth Show for Roddy.
When you've got a job to do, reach for something good to chew.
I've taken over.
Chewing helps you stand the pace, anytime and any place. So,
Hi-ho, hey, hey, chew your little troubles away. Hi-ho, hey, hey, chew Wrigley Spearmint Gum. Work goes faster, smoother too. Life seems brighter when you chew. Hi-ho, hey, hey, chew Wrigley Spearmint Gum. It's good to sink your teeth into Wrigley Spearmint Gum. That lively flavor freshens your mouth, and the good chewing helps make the job go smoother and faster. Enjoy chewing Wrigley Spearmint Gum every day, as millions do. Hi-ho, hey, hey, chew your little troubles away. Hi-ho, hey, hey, chew Wrigley Spearmint Gum.
Stand by for the K-Big Sports 2.5 minutes from now.
From the graveyard.
Flashback time. Remember how delighted you were the first time you heard the Rod Roddy radio program. American Hockey League lineup for tonight. Seattle plays the Bisons at Buffalo's Memorial Auditorium. Hershey's at Springfield. Cleveland at Rochester. Quebec plays at Providence. And Pittsburgh at Baltimore. In the National Hockey League, New York plays at Detroit. Toronto at Boston. Montreal at Chicago. NBA Pro Basketball, Philadelphia at St. Louis. San Francisco-Boston game has been postponed because of bad weather. Other sports news in women's golf, Nancy Roth-Sims and Barbara McIntyre will meet in a 36-hole match for the championship in the Doherty Amateur Tournament at Fort Lauderdale, Florida. Al Geiberger carries a 3-stroke lead into the final round of the Bing Crosby Golf Tournament at Pebble Beach, California. Billy Martindale is his closest rival. Here in Western New York, the Town of Tonawanda Recreational Department has canceled their activities for today. And let's see, I'm trying to find another cancellation of a basketball league. Oh, the Buffalo Municipal Basketball League has been canceled today. Also, the horse show at the Saddle and Bridle Club in Amherst has been canceled. It's a winter wonderland.
You always know the score.
Yes, you always know the score.
I mean, you always know the score. On WKBW.
Tijuana Taxi by Herb Alpert's Tijuana Brass.
Hear that doorbell? If you live in KB country, Cheektowaga, Hamburg, Williamsville, Lackawanna, or anywhere else, that doorbell could mean fabulous prizes for you. The caller could be Miss KB, our ambassador of good luck, who's traveling all around the Buffalo area asking this question.
Are you listening to KB Radio now?
And if you are, you may win a huge bag of groceries from Loblaws, including Malucky's meat products, or an Oster ice crusher, Pastoria grill or waffle maker, or any of the other terrific gifts. So stay tuned on the 1520 line.
The next time your doorbell rings, it could be Miss KB.
It was a very good year. Frank Sinatra. It's 30 degrees in Buffalo, New York, 3-0 in our town. The radar shows snow over the 8 western counties, nearby Ontario and also Pennsylvania. It's become mostly very light, with the heaviest presently over the Oakfield, Medina area. We'll have the complete rundown on the highway road conditions in just a few moments. And let's see what else we have here. Oh, yes, we've been in touch with the folks at the New York Central Railroad, and they inform us that they're doing a landslide business today. Everybody's taking the train. And their trips out of Buffalo and into Buffalo are leaving pretty much on time, with very, very slight delays, if any, encountered. The trains are getting through all right. As far as the buses are concerned, in touch with the folks at the Greyhound Terminal, they inform me that most of their buses from out of town coming into the city are from 1/2 hour to 1 hour late, but they are all running. None of their trips have been canceled yet. The buses originating at the terminal out of Buffalo are leaving on time. So if you have a bus to catch, don't say, well, it's going to leave an hour late anyway, so no offense there. Get there. If it's scheduled to leave at a certain time, that's when it will be leaving. If it is a bus originating in Buffalo, it's a through bus from another city, there will be slight delays from 1/2 hour to 1 hour. But at the terminal, train terminal, things are moving along at a pretty good clip. Buffalo Airport is closed, and they expect a delay of anywhere from 7 to 9 hours now. And some of the airlines are looking to get out of there tonight at 10 possibly. Others are looking to get out early in the morning, possibly 7 o'clock in the morning. But they've got a fantastic snow removal job to do at the Buffalo Airport. This is WKBW Radio. Tomorrow morning, I know everybody in Western New York is going to be interested in the factory closings and school closings, if any. As of this moment, no decisions have been made, and I don't imagine they will be made until later tonight. So listen to Stan Roberts in the morning. He'll start with the school closings, if any, and the factory closings and shift schedule changes and anything that comes up because of the storm. Tomorrow morning at 5 a.m. between 5 and 9. Keep your dial glued at 1520 Radio for the Stan Roberts program, okay? And let's see what else we have here. Live by the Fabulous Knickerbockers, and that's the name of their latest challenge album, The Fabulous Knickerbockers. Live now, low discount price in all 34 Grant, Kresge's, Woolworth, and G.C. Murphy record departments. 10 fabulous tunes by the Fabulous 4 Knickerbockers, including their smash hit Live. Add to your collection first thing tomorrow. It's in the record department of your nearby Grant, Kresge's, Woolworths, or G.C. Murphy stores at their usual low prices. 34 stores around the Buffalo area to serve you. And now the rundown on the highway conditions in Buffalo. Skyway and Father Baker Bridge are closed. The airport's closed. Most main streets have been plowed but remain snow-covered. Some secondary main streets are blocked with drifts and are impassable. Most side arteries are covered with 1 to 2 feet of snow, badly rutted and impossible for travel. Erie County main roads in the process of being plowed. Most of the county and state roads are plowed. However, main highways are still in hazardous, slippery condition. Erie County secondary roads are in pretty bad shape, all snow plowed. Niagara County Sheriff's deputies advise no unnecessary travel in Niagara County unless equipped with chains. The main highways in the county are in poor condition. Secondary arteries are plugged with deep snow and are impassable. In Genesee County, main highways are in extremely hazardous condition. Side roads are drifted over and impassable. Some secondary roads are reported closed. Chautauqua County, all main highways have been plowed and are reported in conditions suitable for travel. Side roads in Chautauqua have been plowed and are reported in fair condition. In Orleans County, residents are requested to remain home unless in case of an emergency. Main highways in dangerous condition. Secondary roads are plugged with snow and are impassable. Allegheny County main highways in the Allegheny County area in poor condition. Side roads are impassable. Some side county roads are closed. Cattaraugus County main highways have been plowed and sanded. However, they remain in poor to fair condition with snow continuing. Side roads are very hazardous. However, none are closed. In Livingston County, main highways are getting all the plowing attention. Side roads in many sections have not been plowed. Highways are in poor condition. In Wyoming County, no unnecessary travel advised in this county. Main highways in poor condition. Some secondary county roads are not plowed and are closed. The New York State Thruway is open.
W K B W Pulse Beat U.
At 3:46, it's 29 degrees in Buffalo. This is John Zack reporting for C. Hettinger for Rambler, an American Motors dealer with 2 full ships of service and sales. In the top of the news, The word at this hour from law enforcement agencies throughout western New York: avoid any unnecessary travel unless in an emergency. Hundreds of pieces of snow removal machinery are on the job on this side of the state, attempting to clear main and secondary roads of snow, measuring up to 2 feet in some sections. Here in Buffalo, snow removal operations are proceeding slowly, with all available plows working. Most Buffalo main streets have been plowed at least once. However, they remain snow-covered and extremely slippery. Plows have also covered some more heavily traveled side streets. However, all other side streets remain plugged with snow, and almost all are impassable. Buffalo Streets Commissioner Carl Perla reported to KB News this afternoon that some side streets would be cleared by tonight. In a report to this reporter, Commissioner Perla said,
"What we're doing now is it looks like we have the main arteries pretty well under hand. And we're going to go over them again this afternoon. And there's a possibility that if the snow lets up, because it's continuously snowing, if it lets up, we may even begin with the side streets."
Commissioner Perla also warns motorists that parking ordinances will be enforced. Motorists who park or abandon cars on main streets will face fines and have their cars towed away by police tow trucks. We wish to remind you the Father Baker Bridge and Skyway bridges are still closed to traffic due to bad visibility. The Buffalo Fire Department and volunteer fire companies in western New York urge residents to clear snow from fire hydrants near their homes so that in case of an alarm of fire, the hydrants will be easily located by firemen. Greater Buffalo International Airport closed down earlier today and will remain closed until further notice. NFC buses continue to operate this afternoon. However, bus company officials said schedules are not accurate due to the bad weather. Some detours by buses also have been reported. A Buffalo woman this morning gave birth to a baby boy in her home when an ambulance became stuck in a snow-clogged side street. The woman and child were later transferred to Sisters Hospital in good condition. Taking a look at snow depths in the immediate area: 18 inches in the Clarence area, 24 in Lancaster, 18 to 20 in Elma and East Aurora, 18 inches in Hamburg and West Seneca, 18 to 24 inches in the Evans-Angola area, and in a highway advisory issued by the Weather Bureau this afternoon, 3 to 5 inches of new snow could be expected in areas close to Buffalo by early this evening, according to a spokesman at the Weather Bureau.
Additional snow accumulations of 3 to 5 inches are expected over the 8-county area till early this evening, with the heaviest amounts expected over sections of Niagara, Orleans, and northern Erie counties. Some blowing and drifting likely at times, causing zero visibility.
At this hour, snow activity continues over most of the western New York area, lightly, with heavy snow flurries reported in the Orleans County area near Medina. Caution is advised against zero visibility at times. West Seneca police have charged 2 men with grand larceny and third-degree burglary in connection with the theft of $450 worth of clothing from A&A's branch store at the Southgate Plaza on Union Road. State police identified one of the suspects as a security guard employed by the store, 28-year-old Fred Hogue of 36C Glenwood Court, and his partner in crime, 32-year-old Robert Back of 45 Wayne Court, Cheektowaga. Hogue, working inside the store, allegedly let Back inside to steal merchandise. Police found Back's car in the rear of the store loaded with loot stolen from inside. Ceasefire ends in Vietnam. Airlift of combat troops makes history. Details in a moment.
Chuck Hettinger and his boys are giving the Rambler away, practically.
And remember, Chuck Hettinger and his boys give you the big choice. Looking for that once-a-year deal on a 65? We got them because C. Hettinger for Rambler is still conducting its official 1965 Rambler clearance sale. These cars include brand new, never-driven 65s, plus American Motors Company officials cars with low mileage. Discounts up to and over $1,200. And if it's a 1966, see and save on the Giant Killers now. You'll find more models to choose from. You'll find you'll receive more for your present car. Save more on your new car when you see Hettinger for Rambler. And it's no money down. See Hettinger for Rambler will take care of all financing. 1965, 1966. Pick your year. Then pick up the deal only New York State's largest volume dealer can offer. See Hettinger for Rambler, 3900 Sheridan Drive, next to the Sheridan Bowling Lane.
The 3-day ceasefire in Vietnam has ended, but officials say the nearly 60 attacks against American and Korean troops shows the truce never applied to Allied forces. The Air Force says it has completed the largest and longest airlift of combat troops in history. It flew 3,000 men and 3,200 tons of equipment from Hawaii to South Vietnam. Roving Ambassador Averill Harriman says the communists increased their infiltration of the South during the New Year's ceasefire. And France has ordered home its ambassador to Morocco because of Morocco's failure to arrest its foreign minister on kidnap charges. The official KB Weather Eye forecast for this hour is snow changing to flurries, becoming windy and colder tonight. Chance of locally heavy snow squalls developing, low about 15 degrees. Snow flurries, local squalls continuing cold tomorrow, high 20 to 25 tomorrow. Northerly winds 15 to 30 miles an hour. Caution advised against hazardous driving conditions. The barometer rising at 29.65. Winds off of the northwest at 9 miles an hour. Humidity 98%. Present temperature 29 degrees. This has been John Zach reporting.
Repeating, the K-Big story of the moment.
Avoid unnecessary travel.
This edition of Pulse Beat News has been brought to you by
See Hettinger for Rambler, an American Motors dealer with 2 full shifts of sales and service.
When you see news in the making, call 884-5107. KB News awards $15.20 for the best news tip of the week.
Now for Rod Roddy and KB Music.
KBW, Dan Nevers here for Rod Roddy, who's vacationing in, of all places, Acapulco. He really had a rubbing in, didn't he? He's in Acapulco at this very moment, lounging around on the beach, and the temperature's about, 93. Water temperature's about 87. And he's sitting there with a pineapple in one hand and a cool, refreshing drink in the other hand. And he's wiggling his toes in the sand. Look at that. Saying things like, hiya, 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 CC. He throws a little Spanish in there so the people know what he's talking about. So Roddy's away. He'll be away on a week's vacation. And let's see, our Las Vegas traveler, Greg Plastine, arrived last night in Buffalo, New York, wearing just his underwear. It was a rough trip for Fred. I told him not to gamble, but he'll be back tomorrow. You know how Fred is. He'll give you the shirt off his back. And he wanted more, actually. It's 5 minutes before 4.
Got bills to pay? Pay 'em. Got things to buy? Buy 'em. Want cash to do it? Then call Beneficial Finance and get that big okay.
Get that big okay at Beneficial. Get that big okay for cash today. Just pick up your phone and make a call for cash. The Beneficial way is the smart way. The right way too. When you want cash, here's the thing to do. Get that big okay at Beneficial. Get that big okay.
You pick the terms, you pick the payment.
Get that big okay.
Beneficial Finance Company.
There are 8 beneficial offices within the sound of my voice. One is located at 970 Broadway in Buffalo, also in Hamburg and Williamsville. Loans by mail, too. See the white pages. Yes, the white pages of your phone book under beneficial. 20 inches of snow in western New York, and the highway is in very, very slippery condition. The temperature is 29 degrees, still snowing in many places. And everybody's out there busy cleaning up the highways, but still there's a lot of fun going on in western New York in the midst of all of this. And to find out about a little bit of it, we switch you directly to the Cave on Niagara Falls Boulevard. Hey, what's happening out there?
Well, thank you very much, Danny. This is the Cave calling, and we are operating this afternoon. We have 2 live bands here.
Ladies and gentlemen, this is Philip Krupp welcoming you to your Keep in Touch program, the show that brings you unique interviews and conversations. Our host, George Douth, will be introducing us to guests famed in the world of entertainment. And now, let's join George Douth at the Manhattan apartment of a good friend of his, the witty and charming star of stage, screen, and television, Arlene Francis.
Ladies and gentlemen, let me introduce you to Mrs. Martin Gable. Yes, our very own Arlene Francis. Good evening, Arlene.
Good evening, George, dear. That was a glorious introduction. Beautiful. I couldn't have written it better myself. In fact, I did write it.
It is really so nice of you to put down the welcome mat for us this evening, inviting us into your home.
I'm very glad you could come. I'm glad you could come at this particular time because we're having some people in later on. Therefore, we've got a lot of flowers in the house. That always makes the house look prettier, warmer, and cozier, don't you think?
It certainly does, and I like the color scheme and the decor of the room we're broadcasting from this evening.
You know, I did, my house in the country is so warm and welcoming. Every time I go into it, I tried to fix the apartment I have in the city so that you feel you're coming into a country house too, and I have this kind of pink and green floral wallpaper that is French wallpaper, and I think it does make the room sort of sunny and gay, doesn't it?
It certainly does.
And colors.
And I like that picture hanging up over the sofa.
It was done by an artist who has since died, and I think a very talented man. His name was Nano de Groot. And it's a faceless woman, I must tell our audience. He's painted it. He's rather a modern painter, but it's a faceless woman, and somehow you put whatever face you see in your own mind's eye into the picture, you know, to fill it out. It's sort of interesting that you do that. It's absolutely a blank face, but don't you find that you can see the lady just the same?
Very, very interesting indeed. Arlene, as a star of stage, screen, radio, do you have any preference?
No, television has been very, very good to me. After all, I've been on television since it started. And I think Blind Date was one of the first shows on television. And then, of course, What's My Line, which has been on. We're in our 16th year now. That's practically the granddaddy of the quiz shows. And I'm very grateful to television. It's on 52 weeks a year for many, many years now. But it's not quite as rewarding as the theater, because there you have the live audience, as you know, George, there to react to you. And it's the caveat of the acting profession, you know. One may rehearse diligently for weeks and care terribly about a play or a part, and then the critics can do away with you in a night if they don't happen to agree with your point of view. So that it's a very tough road to hoe. I don't suggest it as a way of life for most people. You have to be dedicated to it to want to keep it up. But I've had the crutch of television and radio all these years.
Home for 3 years.
Oh, 4
years.
Home was on the air 4 years. That was when Pat Weaver thought of the Today, Home, and Tonight idea. And Today and Tonight have remained on very successfully. Home was a very expensive show to do because we had that enormous circular studio and we had to have all sorts of setups and so forth and variety. There were 100 people on the staff alone, and of course that isn't required in shows like Today and Tonight.
I should imagine, Arlene, that you have interviewed literally thousands of people from every walk of life over the years on Home and, of course, on your daily radio program here in New York City.
I enjoy interviewing people. I'm sure you do, because you kind of get your education that way, in a sense. I know that I interview many authors, and it just necessitates my having to read their books because I won't interview anybody that I haven't read. You know, you learn quite a lot if you have to read everything from the Ian Fleming novels to the treatise by Lasky in England, you know, so that you really, you just simply have to educate yourself when you're doing that kind of work, and it's been marvelous. I got my PhD through my interview programs.
When did you start in show business?
My family was terribly against my being in the theater. I have the most usual background, not unusual, usual. I went to a convent. I had a father that thought the theater was a terrible place for a girl. A mother that kept saying that the most important thing of manners and speech, and so I think we ought to let her at least study that, and that doesn't need to be on the stage. It'll just mean that would help her with the graces and so forth. And so they were very much against it, but radio seemed like a legitimate business to my father. That's so outrageous in the theater. So he allowed me to go into radio, and then I went into the theater through summer stock, and then finally got a break with George Abbott, which is the way that many very young people in the theater have gotten a break, of course. So I've managed to keep alive all three of the professions through the years, because even when I'm doing radio and television shows that are on regularly, I try to do summer stock when I have vacation. I don't take a vacation, I work. Or winter stock in the winter time, and tape my programs ahead, as you very often have to tape yours, George. And then in the summer, What's My Line is taped for 6 weeks. So that allows all of us to take a 6-week vacation, during which time I work.
Well, you know, when you first started in radio, you just mentioned
Well, don't talk like that. You said make me sound like an antique. Big Sister and I can't even remember the names of them anymore.
Well, I remember.
Betty and Bob I did. There seemed to be endless ones. And then, of course, I did the first quiz show. What's My Name was the name of it. And that was it was, well, it was a forerunner of What's My Line. It was a little different. There were 4 questions asked to people that were chosen in the audience, and I pretended to be a famous personality, and then I would shed a little light on myself, you know, and then they would have to say, and then I would say, what's my name after the first question. If they got it, if they knew who I was from the first, which is rather an oblique question, they would get a $10 prize. Can you believe it, the way it's gone up since then, the inflation that's happened?
So you talk about age. You know, I have been with What's My Line. Many of our listeners know I'm associated with Goods and Tobin for the same number of years, I guess, as you have. What is it, 15 now or whatever?
Yes, we're about 16.
But unfortunately, we don't know how to retain or keep the youth that you women do. And I would just like to ask you now, what is your secret? How is it you look so beautiful and attractive? Do we men get old fast? And I'm getting old faster by the minute.
You look like a baby, George, as everybody knows that's seen you. But I have no recipe for anything except being interested in what's going on around me. I think if you care terribly about life and its pursuits, and you have a certain joy in being alive, that you just look better most of the time. There is no reason to get kind of bent over and crotchety and have creaky joints and split hair ends and bad complexions, because there are too many cosmetic things that will help us to look better. There are certainly massage and all kinds of facial cosmetics and all kinds of hair treatments, so that people don't have to look older. Like, naturally, we all get older, but I mean, we don't have to look poorly, may I say. We can all look well. And that's part of the glow of living. If you have that, that's the whole secret, I think.
You're 100% right, Arlene. I think part of the glow is the knowledge one acquires as they get on in years, because that puts a halo of youth around you. And the young people flock to people like yourself, like Dr. Margaret Mead, because you are in the know, because you're so active day in and day out doing 1,000,001 different things, and I don't know how you find the time to do them all, Arlene.
Well, I enjoy doing them all. That's the secret.
What was your first stage play? Do you recall?
Boy, you probably do. I just don't know that I do. So long ago. Oh, Doughgirls. Well, it wasn't my first stage play, but it was my first hit, and that was during the war. I played a Russian sniper in that, and it was a marvelous part, and I played it with a Russian accent and a Russian costume, while all the other girls in the show, Arlene Whalen and Virginia Field and Doris Nolan, they were all dressed in beautiful Hattie Carnegie clothes, and I had to wear this terrible uniform of the Russian army.
And the Look magazine said of that particular hit, the Doughgirl that we are talking about, that you walked away with the show.
Oh, well, don't you believe it?
Knowing Arlene Francis, I know that you walked away with the show. You have done about, 21 Broadway productions.
I guess I've done even more than that now. I don't keep track of how many. There was a time when I had a bracelet that had on it, you know, those charm bracelets that have every play that you've been in, but it was a flop bracelet. And every play I was in closed. The only really big hits I've been in was Doughgirls, the first one, and then, of course, Once More with Feeling was a big hit that I did with Joe Cotton.
Were you in with the Goldbergs?
No.
I know Joseph Cotton was.
No. Was Joe in that? I didn't know that. No, Joe and I worked together in Once More with Feeling, but we had previously worked together with Orson Welles in the Mercury Theater. We were part of that nucleus of that first group that Orson put together. Joe Cotton and I were part of that, so that's how I knew Joe. We were both poor and struggling and young at the time.
When did you first meet that wonderful husband of yours, Martin Gable, of course, I speak of, as our listeners are well aware. Incidentally, he welcomed me when I came in this evening. He was in here.
He has been, of course, very active in the acting field himself. This last year, he was in his first musical, Baker Street, and he was rather hilarious about that. He was keeping mufflers around his neck to be sure that his dulcet tones would be kept intact.
He has a wonderful speaking voice, very resonant and deep.
Yes. Well, when I first met him, he He was doing Big Sister. I was only beginning then, and he was already the star of this particular radio show. I think his name was Dr. John Wayne. Some of our older listeners who used to hear Big Sister will remember Martin from that. And that's when I used to get to know him so well. That's how it all happened. And we have a glorious son, 18 years old, at Harvard, and I'm very proud of indeed.
You are also an authoress.
Oh, well, we don't count that.
I'm
not
do.
really a writer.
And the book, That Certain Something, The Magic of Charm, published by Julian Mesner and Company.
Yes,
Did I pronounce that right?
That's right. Julian Mesner and Company. Well, that's really nothing. That's a book I wrote about 5 years ago. Well, maybe more now. I can't even remember. But I only wrote it because she had, Mrs. Messner had called me to ask me if I would do a book on charm, and I said I thought it was a terrible assumption. I wouldn't dream of doing a book on charm. It sounds like I am saying I'm adorable. If you just do what I say, you too will be adorable. But then she said, no, well, let's try and think of some angle for you to write it. And so I thought about it a little, and I thought of all the people that I had met the 4 years I had done the home show that you've talked about, and the many, many people I've interviewed, and what made the difference in people, what attitudes did they have, what kind of behavior did they show that made them draw themselves to you, or you are drawn to them rather, more than other people. And so I wrote the book from that standpoint, and I'm happy to say it was on the bestseller list for a while, and
it was indeed
in paperback.
Arlene, well, what are the attitudes of people today? Do you have any comment on the young people?
There is always a rebellion in the ranks of youth because they want to break the bonds that are holding on to them. I disapprove myself of the marching and the picketing. I think if the laws of the country are a certain thing, you have to obey the laws, and beyond that, you can do everything. You can write your congressman, you can write to your president, you can do whatever you want if you disapprove of the laws that are the laws of the land. We live in a democracy that says you can change them if there is popular approval of changing them, and I'm for that, but not for overt rebellion. I think it is, I don't think it's any good on either side. I'm not saying, I don't care whether it is the man that is marching against the war in Vietnam or the man that is saying, why shouldn't we go to Vietnam? I say that both sides should act according to the laws of the land. That's all I say. Now, the rebellion of youth is indistinguishable today from what it was hundreds of years ago. It is only that today our communications are better, and we see more, and that we have grown up more. And it is certainly obvious that we're going to know more about the rebellion of the youth of today. And I don't think it's a terribly unhealthy thing. My own son is very, very opposed to the articles that are written about juvenile delinquency and about the Berkeley campus incidents and so forth, because he feels that these things are very harmful, these articles that are written, because they separate the generations even farther. And that is what he says is the most dangerous thing that is happening in our age, according to my 18-year-old son.
I wonder if you have any thoughts as to how young people can best express themselves on the college campus.
Well, they can best express themselves by fulfilling the job that is at hand for them. They have 4 years of college. They have an opportunity to grow enormously by really caring about what they're studying. If their families have sacrificed in any way to send them to college, they certainly should at least pay them the respect of trying to accomplish something themselves, because only through enriching themselves are they going to amount to anything in the future. And if people are not sacrificing, I certainly can't say that my husband and I had to sacrifice to send Peter to college. We would be disappointed not for ourselves, but for him. He has a long, I hope, rich, full life ahead of him. And if he isn't going to take advantage of the years that he has of acquiring knowledge, of being inquisitive and acquisitive, he will not be equipped for the world of the future. We're all very insane not to do our studying and our homework.
You have so many hobbies, and I don't know how you manage to incorporate these hobbies into your daily work. Radio, motion picture, 1, 2, 3, I speak of, which I saw, Arlene, and I really, with Jimmy Cagney. That was delightful.
Yes,
that was a couple of years ago, wasn't it?
That was 3 years ago. Well, no, it was 1962. And Thrill of It All, I did a couple of years.
Yes.
But I'm not a motion picture performer. I just happened to do those 2 pictures, that's all. I tell you the truth, George, I work so hard, but that work is my hobby, that's all. I find, there are 2 kinds of people. One is the kind for which work is pleasure, and the other kind, work is work and pleasure is pleasure separately. For me, my work is my pleasure, so I have my holiday when I'm doing something that pleases me work-wise. I do little things. I have a house in the country I adore. I cook a little. I love to dabble around in paints a little. I antique furniture a little. I do all these things a little. I'm not a master of any of these crafts. I just enjoy them.
Well, I think perhaps a remark made by one of your friends describes you best, Arlene. If I may quote, she says, Arlene is the only person I know who acts as though life were the best party she ever attended.
No, that was very sweet.
Is that right, Arlene?
Yes, somebody did say that, and it was darling of them. I like it.
Well, I think we'll leave on that charming note. I want to
George.
thank you so much for keeping in touch.
Thank you, George. It's always good to see you.
Thank you so much. Arlene Francis, good night.
Good night.
I believe in Santa Claus and Liberace and all kinds of crazy people like that. 6.5 minutes before 10, EWCOL, much more music time. It's the December the 28th Larry Clark Show, and you have just heard the songs in the Nighttime Headline Survey. Right. Exciting, isn't it? This is called The Spy with the Cold Nose. Uh-huh. Newswatch. Paul Hogan reporting from the State Fire Marshal's office today, a request for all municipal authorities to ban the sale of an imported rag doll, which has been found to be highly flammable. State Fire Marshal George Schottelbeck says every fire department in the state has been contacted about the dolls, which stand about 15 inches high and are covered with cloth. The bodies are stuffed with straw and have the name A.E. Sutton stamped on the foot. Fire Marshal says the dolls, which sold for less than $1 and were usually stocked in discount department stores, should be taken to the closest fire station for disposal. The Marshal reminds citizens not to try to destroy the dolls themselves, since they are extremely flammable and release a toxic gas while burning. Anyone possessing one of these dolls should take it to a local fire station where the imported dolls will be safely disposed of. The bullet-riddled body of a 72-year-old Westside Cleveland barbershop owner is found tonight in a small room adjoining his shop. Police are questioning 4 witnesses in the murder of Max Fisher. One witness says he heard 2 persons arguing before a volley of gunshots was heard. A Cuyahoga County grand jury criticizes members of the clergy today. The grand jury investigating last summer's Huff area riot says some members of the clergy helped the rioters, saying that it is of grave concern that members of the clergy went to great lengths to aid and assist those men who would tear down the very foundations of government. Grand jury foreman William Pringle also urges a further investigation into the leadership of the Huff riots. 5 Ohio men listed as dead in Vietnam by the Defense Department. One, a Columbus man, previously reported as missing but now reported as killed in action, was Lieutenant John M. Troyer, husband of Mrs. Claudia M. Troyer of 548 Stenscombe here in Columbus. Lieutenant Troyer was an Air Force officer. Another Ohio man listed as killed in action is Army Specialist Ronald D. Evans of Cincinnati. Also, Private First Class Ronnie R. Bishop of Deschler, Ohio. Private First Class Michael E. Smith of the Marines of Hamilton, Ohio, was killed in action in Vietnam. Reported as not dead in action, but as a result of hostile action, as a result of hostile action, is Navy fireman Robert M. Klebanowski of Cleveland. A 14-year-old youth arrested today in Cincinnati. He's being accused of the October murder of a man in New Orleans. Queen City police say the youth, Thomas Sturgeon, is being charged with first-degree murder of 42-year-old Harry Bosch. Louisiana authorities have begun extradition proceedings to return the 14-year-old youth to New Orleans for trial. The Coast Guard in Cleveland today says the search for the Daniel J. Morrell will continue. Investigators hope the wreckage of the sunken ore carrier, if it can be located, might offer clues to the exact nature of the disaster. The ship went down on Lake Erie during a violent snowstorm November 29th with a loss of 28 of her 29 crewmen. Both sides in the Greyhound bus dispute are meeting tonight in Cleveland in an attempt to block a midnight strike. Members of the Amalgamated Transport Union, which represents 5,500 drivers and mechanics in 19 eastern states, threaten to walk off their jobs if their demands are not met. The bus drivers, who now earn about $9,600 a year, are reportedly seeking a pay hike of 3 mils per mile and 8 cents an hour. A federal mediator is participating in the last-minute negotiations. The first big Allied push into the communist-dominated Mekong Delta region of South Vietnam is reportedly going well. The vanguard of 10,000 Vietnamese troops made quick contact with Viet Cong forces in the airborne assault south of Saigon. U.S. bombing raids on North Vietnam continue to generate controversy. The White House comments for the first time today on reports that non-military targets, including civilian housing, have been bombed in the Hanoi area. An aide says President Johnson's policy is to bomb only military targets. Red Chinese officials and civilians are celebrating their latest advance on the road to nuclear power. The Peking regime detonates its 5th atomic device today and says it raised China's technology in the field of nuclear weapons to a new level. The eastern half of the country reeling under winter's latest blows. A severe storm that began in the southern Rockies is centered in southern Wisconsin tonight, with 4 inches or more of new snow expected in parts of Wisconsin and Michigan. Upwards of 10 inches were reported earlier in northern Illinois and southern Wisconsin. Now the new WCOL Weather Watch, cloudy with a chance of snow flurries late tonight and a low in the mid-20s. Thursday, cloudy and colder, a chance of snow flurries and a high near 30. At this hour, the relative humidity stands at 96%. Barometric pressure, 29.52 inches and falling. Winds are from the southeast at 18 miles per hour. At the current Columbus average temperature, 42 degrees. From the new WCOL AM/FM Columbus, Ohio, this is Paul Hogan.
Larry Clark Music.
WIOU will report news when it happens. The next scheduled Top Gun news at 30.
Here's a friendly invitation from Ayers Diners to have Sunday dinner with them. Ayers Diners offer a complete Sunday dinner at a price that makes it easy for you to take the whole family. At Ayers, you'll get your choice of soup, fruit cup or juice, entree, 2 vegetables, and your choice of drink and dessert, all for only $1.50. Children under 12, only $1. This Sunday, Ayers Diners feature roast loin of boneless pork, over dressing, roast leg of spring lamb, twice ground round steak with mushroom sauce, roast U.S. choice top round or ribeye of beef, half golden brown fried chicken, roast turkey or pork cutlet, and chicken fried steak over rice. On weekdays, Ayers Diners offer a children's special dinner for children under 12, only 87 cents. It's a complete dinner with choice of chicken, minute steak, turkey, filet of haddock, or veal cutlet, choice of 2 vegetables, drink, and dessert. And it's all only 87 cents. There are 4 Ayers locations: 603 West Kennedy, 1322 South Dale Mabry, 4603 Florida, and 1102 North Dale Mabry. Have Sunday dinner today at Ayers for only $1.50. Just $1 for children under 12. Served 11 a.m. to 9 p.m. every Sunday.